Why isn't there more coverage of black trans girls outside the context of violence? You do know there's more to our story, right? Oh yeah, but you only get to hear that side of the story if you attend the funeral and hear the preacher saying, on the eighth day, God said, let there be fierce. And that was the story of the first snap. The hands humbled attempt at thunder, and a small sky was troubled with attitude. And on the ninth day, God said, bitch, work. And Adam learned to duck walk, dip, pose, death drop. Eve became the fruit herself. She looked that lion in the eye and dared the queen to bite. And on the 10th day, God, dressed in a blood-red sequins bodysuit, he dropped it low and called it a sunset. Today we mourn our sister, Miss Candy Ferocity, who was taken too soon. Now I'm not going to sit up and lie to y'all today. Miss Candy, she was a pain in my goddamn black ass. You know, we didn't always see eye to eye, but she was still my sister. Like you all are my sisters, my cousins, my siblings, and my children. And what we all know, family don't always get along. We have become hashtags. We have become part of that dead before 30 narrative, and in just 2 weeks, people forget about us. But most of the time when people report our deaths, they don't mention one single detail about us outside of how we ain't been seen in weeks. The transgender community has far more representation in pop culture. There are transgender characters in TV shows and movies, but yet that cultural progress hasn't trickled down to the everyday life, particularly for the ones that are still vulnerable. Since 2013, there has been 128 transgender individuals killed in the United States. And in 2019, at least 22 more transgender individuals have been killed, most of them being transgender women of color. So with the use of the essay Show Them Living and Not Dying by Serena Sonoma, the drama Pose by Ryan Murphy, the poetries Genesissy by Danez Smith, Kevin the Faggot by Marvin K. White, and the articles from the Human Rights Campaign, we can see that for far too long, transgender people, especially transgender people of color, have been faced with blatant discrimination and severe violence for simply being the people they are. And we can't just sit idly by while our brothers and sisters are under attack. We must continue telling the stories of those who no longer can. A program. Because no one should fear going outside and being killed. Because someone doesn't understand who they are. They ain't been seen in weeks. Kevin the Faggot, a little boy on this block where you live, he fights to wear his little girl dresses, but he likes the way they make him feel. But this little boy on your block, he ain't been seen in weeks. Not by nobody. Our deaths are used as moments of pure profit. We are dehumanized and we deserve for our entire story to be told. And on the 11th day, God said, girl, come here. And the trees leaned in for gossip. The water went wild with tea. And the air was tight with shade. And on the 12th day, Jesus wept in the mirror, mourning how his sons would shame his sons for walking a daughter's stride and how the children would hate the kids. And on the 13th day, God barely moved. He sat around dreaming of glitter, happy with the shine of it, but so sad to see that so many of his children came home covered in it. And while the parades canceled due to rain of fists and ropes and bullets and hate, and on the 14th day, God just didn't know what to do because Most of the fatal violence against the transgender community in 2019 has been against black transgender women. But the violence that my community faces is nothing new. Because every month of every year, I'm reminded of my place in society when the media only pays attention to black trans girls like me if it involves violence. You know, they never show us living, always dying. I was sitting in this room maybe a couple of months ago, saying farewell to yet another friend. And that's when I overheard Miss Candy saying that funerals were a waste. Yeah, she said funerals were a waste because only the living get to partake, and well, the departed is just propped up for viewing. And she said they are unable to see who all showed up. They are unable to hear who cried out, and unable to respond and speak their final truths. But sadly, our deaths are only as important as the next sad story. Even worse, our deaths are used as moments of clicks instead of means to be genuinely concerned about the transgender community and to actually care about those of us who are still alive. You do know we are more than just our deaths. God created us too, and the Lord begat man. Man begat sin. The sin begat a new joy, and that new joy begat hate. And well, hate begat Leviticus, and Leviticus begat Sister Rosa, but Sister Rosa begat that ugly rumor about Dwayne, and well, that ugly rumor about Dwayne begat the truth. And well, the truth begat the need to pray and to run, but the need to pray and to run begat the knees, but that's a kind of praying too. And the knees begat the mouth that was splattered all over the hem-covered dirt road. We are people. We are people who live complicated, nuanced lives. You know, we have our favorite flavor of ice cream. We have our favorite cartoon. And hell, we have our favorite person. So give us nuanced obituaries and support us while we are alive to see it. You know, everything else you do is just to make yourself feel better, as you are quite literally doing nothing when we are being beaten in the streets. The mouse splattered all over the hemp-colored dirt road still begat a song. And well, that song begat the hymn at the sweet boy's funeral, and the sweet boy's funeral still begat Sister Rose's disgusted head shake. And well, Sister Rose's disgusted head shake begat the world that killed the not girl child. And they stole her favorite dress off her cold, shimmering body, and that just can't. A little boy on this block where you live, he fights to wear his little girl dresses, and that just can't. He likes the way they make him feel. But this little boy on your block, he ain't been seen in weeks. And that just can't. He ain't been seen in weeks. You know, Kevin, the faggot, ain't been seen in weeks. Not by nobody. And that just can't. Well, that just can't come from God. Right? You know, there are so many things that have to remain unspoken. That we can no longer thank her for what she gave us. We can no longer tell her how much she meant to us. And we can no longer give her the grandest and shiniest motherfucking trophy for her contributions to this community. But we all know unfinished business is a burden on the living. We must continue fighting through this tragedy so we can fight our hardest fight to protect our sisters from the hands of men who are weak. I love you, Candy. And I always will.